got commissioned to make $400 worth of Pokemon, and that's exactly what I did. So let's talk about it. Hey babes! Welcome back to Moonbae Crochet. It is Brandy, and today I wanted to just show you guys the $400 order that I got commissioned to do. I've kind of been showing it off sparingly in pieces as I kind of made them. You know, I did a video talking about 4 Pokemon patterns that I, like in my reviews of them. So today I just wanted to show you the completed order. All of these Pokemon that I have been making, they were for one person. But before we hop right in here, just a quick introduction. My name is Brandy. I love to do crochet content on here, showing off patterns that I love or recent projects that I've made, giving you gift ideas for special events or holidays, sometimes reading r/am I the asshole stories or sharing your submitted stories, sharing a vlog or two every once in a while. So if any of that kind of content sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, sticking around. We have lots of fun here. Without further ado, let's hop right into today's video. I feel like I'm not being very articulate today. Like my tongue keeps getting tied when I talk, so please forgive me if I sound weird. But anyway, let's get into the logistics of this. My goodness. So I have this old coworker, shall I say former coworker, who I met when I used to work in retail, when we both worked in retail. So we have not worked together for years at this point. But now that I am, big shot crocheter over here. But ever since this person learned of my crochet skills, every, I would say, year or so, he commissions me to make an order, and usually it is for Pokemon. He just kind of gives me a list of Pokemon that he wants. He gives these plushies to like his son, sometimes his sisters. And so it's usually kind of like a laundry list of plushies that he wants. And here's where I kind of mess up a little bit, is that a lot of times I haven't ever made the certain Pokemon that he's asking me to make. Like, for example, in this specific order, he asked me to make a Psyduck and a Snorlax, and I have made those before, so I kind of know the amount of work that goes into them. But then there are also Pokemon sometimes every time he orders from me that like I've never made before, so I just kind of go and look up patterns, and I kind of just, based on the look of it, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I think that that's gonna be, worth this much or whatever, based on my skills and how long I think it's going to take, and yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing about me. I am not the type of person that can focus on one thing for very long. This is why I have so many WIPs, works in progress. It's because, sometimes when I'm working on something for a very long time, I get very bored of it. I have to move on to something else, and eventually I'll make my way back to that thing. But I just need that kind of like flexibility, But when you're working on something that somebody has paid you to do, you kind of need to prioritize that. Now, thankfully, this person, they are very like cool. They're understanding. They're like never in a rush whenever they ask me for these types of things. But it's also like, I don't want to be working on this thing for 3 years. I want to just get it done and out of the way. So this person wanted a total of 8 crochet items, and I kind of basically gave him a roundabout price of about $50 an item, which is why the total came out to $400. And I mean, he was cool with it. I'm obviously cool with it. But yeah, the amount of mental taxation that this put on me, the amount of blisters this put on my poor index finger from sewing, I always end up thinking, man, this was probably worth more than $400. And that's the bad part about these types of things, is that like, it really isn't affordable. Like crochet can be sort of a luxury item because it's like, it's not necessary in order to live. And it's also like, it takes so long to do. It's a labor of love. It's so like time consuming and all this stuff. Plus it's like, this isn't the only thing I have to do all day. I work like a typical job, and I also try to do my videos. Like I'm trying to be real consistent. You guys, I have not missed an upload yet. Hopefully I won't, let's knock on wood. But it's just hard. And I've learned through this experience, because I mean, this is probably like the 3rd time or something that I've done a big order for this person. But I have come to the conclusion, I'm never taking a big order like this again. Because when I looked back at the messages, I texted him yesterday and I was like, hey, like everything's done now. You can feel free to pick it up at some time this week. And so we were just working that out. But I looked at the messages when he initially gave me the list of the things that he wanted. It was February 2nd. Today, as I'm filming, we're in like the 3rd week of May. This took me 2.5 months to get through. Do you know, like, what? That is too much time. That's too much time. And like, could I have possibly done it quicker? Yes, of course. There was plenty of times where it's like, oh, I know I should be working on that thing, but the thought of doing it was so daunting that I was just like, ugh, like I just don't want to do it right now. So, I put it to the side. Everybody has those days. And then there's other times where it's like, oh, I know that we're going to be like going to the in-laws to hang out today. So, I don't really want to bring a pattern that I'm going to have to like be focusing on and reading while I'm trying to like hang out and enjoy my time with family. So there's a lot of little things that got in the way. I'm not going to say that it's just because these patterns were complicated or anything. It's just like, wow. I'm just not the type of person that can take on this amount of workload. I can't do it anymore. So if this person ever wants anything from me again, I'm putting them at a two Pokemon limit. And then, if you want more after that, then cool, we can place another order a little later. But I got other things to do. So this is the last time I'm ever taking a huge order like this. But I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't mean for this to come off whiny or like I'm complaining that I get paid to do something that I love to do. And also, I don't know if some people like find it tacky to talk about money. I got paid $400 to do this commission order, and I just wanted to be transparent about that. And, honestly, when it all rounds out to about $50 an item and you see the amount of time and work that goes into it, I honestly still think that is a pretty decent price. So anyways, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and start showing you everything that was in this order. And yes, you might have seen some of them before if you've seen some of my other videos where I have shown them kind of here and there, but I'm just going to kind of not really necessarily like pattern review type, but I am going to kind of tell you like my experience in making the item, whether or not I would probably do it again and that kind of thing. I just kind of wanted to show off what I made before I hand them off to the person that's going to be their forever home, I'm just going to kind of like pick them up piecemeal. I'm not going to pick them up in the order that I made them. It's all a blur, okay? It was all a dream, like Biggie. So I'm just going to start here. Here we have Slowpoke, and I think he came out so adorable. He is so big. I found this, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and leave all the links for the patterns that I used down below in case you guys want to use them. But this one I actually found for free online, which was awesome. Not having to pay for a pattern when doing something like this is great because it helps you to not affect that bottom line or whatever. Look at me using business talk. I don't even know what a bottom line is. But regardless, this Slowpoke, he's really nice and sturdy. He stands up all by himself. See that? So the only thing is, when I saw the pattern and I like kind of was reading how many stitches I was going to need and stuff like that, I realized that if I made him with only one singular like ball of yarn, he was probably going to come out a little smaller than the rest of the Pokemon that I was making, and I kind of wanted to make them generally all the same size because, I didn't really want to have one Pokemon come out this big and then one come out this big, but it's like essentially you're paying the same price for all of them. I don't know. So what I did was I just doubled up the amount of yarn I was using. So for this Slowpoke, for example, instead of using one ball of, I think I used Lion Brand Heartland. I can't remember the color name, but it's the light pink one. Instead of using one ball of that, I was using 2 balls of that with both strands around my hook at the same time to make it essentially like a chunky weight yarn. And let me tell you, that was not the best experience in the world. In fact, probably an experience I never want to go through again. It was so taxing on the hands to be doing that because I'm still using like a small-ish hook. I think I was using maybe like a 5mm. In order to get this effect, because I wanted it, again, to be like around the same size as everything else, but man, was it tough, especially when it came to actually sewing the pieces together, like, ugh, the lips, just everything. I used double strands for everything except like the small things like the teeth and the toes, I believe, but everything else, oh gosh, you can just like feel it. It's just like thick, it's stiff. It reminds me of Burnout Blanket, except even Burnout Blanket I think is softer than this, but I think the end result is pretty cute. Would I make another one? Yes, I would say so. The pattern really wasn't that difficult at all. I will say though, I will never do it in double strand yarn again. I will make another one with just one ball of yarn, and it might come out much smaller than this, but I think that is a price I'm willing to pay to not have my hands completely fall off. Okay, the next one I have here is this gorgeous little Chikorita. Look at her little leaf on top. That is so cute. I have it placed here with some like floral wire. That way it like stands up and it looks all like cute, like she could swing it around, you know? But, she's so adorable. I love it. I love it. This one was actually one of the more fun ones to make. The whole head and body is one piece, and then you just have to make the legs and the tail and the leaf and obviously these little like collar pieces. I don't even know what you call them, but all that. I made the eyes out of felt and then just sewed on the smile. But yeah, all in all, this one was a great pattern to follow. It is a paid pattern from Etsy. It is from One Up Crochet, but I would definitely make this one again. I love just like chunky, simple patterns like this. There's not too much fuss, you know. I really don't have any notes. I love the colors. I love how she came out. Again, she also stands up on her own, which is very cute. And yeah, I do like the effect of the felt eyes as well. It just feels more like cartoony, like you're seeing them in Pokemon Go or like, you know, whatever. I think her pupils may be a little big, but you know, whatever. She's still very, very adorable. So definitely love that one. Next up, we have my buddy Snorlax here. This is one of my favorite patterns of all time. The only thing I don't really enjoy too much is the color changes, all the color changes, but I think that they are necessary. They are a necessary evil because if you want that like clean, you know, look here of that, like, you know, his belly is a different color than like the rest of him, but you don't want like the thickness of having to crochet a separate piece for his face and his belly. The color changes are absolutely necessary. So even though I don't love doing them, so like, especially for this many rows, they're absolutely worth it. And the pattern is 100% free right here on YouTube from Studio Crafty. This is a pattern I go back to over and over and over and over again. I'll never get sick of it. Maybe I'll complain while doing it, like, oh my gosh, these color changes, and like get so excited and thrilled when I finally get to this last row of the color changes. But I mean, hey, it's a gorgeous pattern. Look at it, his little claws, his little patas. Like, I love him, you guys. He's so cute. This is one of my favorite Pokemon to make ever. If anybody ever asked me to make a Snorlax, I'm like, hell yeah, I can do that. And I pull up Studio Crafty's video like ASAP. I love it. I will definitely make another Snorlax in the future. I honestly should list him for sale on my Etsy again. I used to have him up, but then where I ran into problems was I never had one just made and ready to go. And I think I got a little traumatized because way back in 2020 when I first started selling on Etsy, I didn't really know how to like edit like processing time and stuff like that. And plus I'm not a very fast crocheter. Like, I think my work looks nice or whatever, but I'm not like super speedy. And so what happened was I would get an order for a Snorlax and I would have to ship it out in like 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I would have to like rush and scramble to like make one to ship out, so it kind of traumatized me, and then I ended up taking him off of my Etsy shop. But now I think I would list Snorlax again, and you know, maybe always have one on me at all times to just be ready to go out. But now that I know like processing times and stuff, how to edit them and whatnot, give myself a little bit of extra time to make one. I don't think it should be as stressful as a situation. But yes, and also, before anybody says anything, anytime I sell a plushie on my Etsy shop that the pattern I used is from somebody else, I always credit them in the description because I'm not trying to take credit for other people's work, you know. I'm always like, hey, if you want to learn how to make this yourself, you don't want to buy the plushie from me, go check out, you know, insert Etsy shop name or insert YouTube channel name, like whatever, because I need people to know, you know, they can make their own if they want. But yes, absolutely love Snorlax. One of my faves. Will definitely make again. Next up, we got my little pal Jigglypuff here. I think she came out so cute. There were definitely parts of this pattern that confused me a little bit, but it is 100% free as well. And just look how adorable she is. I'll definitely make another Jigglypuff one day. Her little curl here, her eyeballs are so big. I just love her. I don't really have anything bad to say about this, like, at all. She came out so cute. The only thing is, I mean, like, just from this sort of perspective or like above, you know, do you see how I can't even wrap my fingers around because she's so like large? I think in total around it was like somewhere in the ballpark of like 96 stitches all the way around like the circumference. Do you know how long that takes to do when you're just doing rounds and rounds and rounds of that in single crochet? A little bit of a nightmare, I'm not gonna lie. But, I mean, I think the end result is very much worth it. Look how cute she is. Everybody loves a sassy little cutie. So, I will say I'll probably definitely make another Jigglypuff again. Next here we have my buddy Psyduck, and this is a pattern that I actually do go back to again and again and again. This is one of the ones that I get like lots of requests to make. I can't remember the name of the crochet artist who made this pattern, but I believe it is a paid pattern, and so I'll leave that link down below. It's from an Etsy shop, and this pattern works out super adorable every single time as well, and it's actually one that I very much do enjoy doing. No parts of this pattern really annoy me. I like it, and the way that the pattern is written, it's kind of like it shows you how to crochet it to where it gives the limbs and stuff this shape where they're kind of like curved, so that you don't have to manipulate them in any way, you know what I mean? You're just crocheting the pieces as the pattern says, and then they just like naturally do that, and I really love it. And I just think he's so cute. He looks so confused all the time. He's adorable. Oh, and his little tail also curls by itself. So yes, definitely a pattern I would recommend, and definitely something I will go back to again and again, just like Snorlax. Except this one's not free, but still very worth it, in my opinion. Okay, next up we have a Pokemon that I have never made before in my life. I was very intimidated when I read this one on the list. It is Lucario. Oh my goodness gracious, look at this guy. Now, technically speaking, I know he's a little bit more dainty looking than like the other ones that I've made, but like technically speaking, he's like still the same size. He's like very tall. He's giving very much action figure. But look at his details, you guys. He's got like toes and fingers, spikes, you know, his hair. Okay, his hair pieces, his mask. You see those eyes? You see those eyes? I painted those. I painted them. Look at the ears, y'all. Now, this pattern, here's what I'll say. Obviously, it's a very good pattern because it worked out very well. However, I personally will never make one again. But it's not because it's a bad pattern. It's a very good and well-written pattern. It's simply because I don't like making things that are like fussy, you know? And this to me is very fussy. Now everybody has their own definition of what like fussy is to them, you know? I personally like just kind of making like big chunky, not detailed things like this. So when it comes to something that's so like intricate and detailed, and look at the shape of the tail and like each individual toe and stuff like that, this to me is fussy. There's just like a lot of like little detail, and like, do I love how it came out? Yes. Am I very proud of myself? Yes. I'm almost kind of like mad that I have to give it to the person who paid for it because it is like gorgeous. The person who wrote this pattern did extremely well. And also, I will say, for a lot of the portions of the pattern, they include links so that you can see their video on YouTube where they show you how to make certain parts of it that can maybe be confusing if you're just reading them and writing, which highly appreciate that. That was incredible because, I mean, I'm very much a visual learner. Sometimes just reading things, like, it won't click for me, but if I can see you doing it, then I'm like, oh, okay, I gotcha. Like, look at this piece. Like, his muzzle, like, the blue and the black, that's all one piece, you know? His mask, like, you guys, this is, like, crazy. I don't really typically make things like this. I'm very proud of myself that I challenged myself. I did accept the person's request for me to make it, and I did, in fact, nail it. I would say so. But wow, it was a lot. It was a lot, and by the end of it, I was like, you better enjoy this one because I'm never making another one again. And like I said, it's not because it's a bad pattern, clearly. It's just because I personally don't like putting this amount of work. Like, this is the type of thing that I'm like, oh, this was worth way more than $50. Way more. I just feel like it took me so long. But yeah, beautiful, gorgeous. Love it. Okay, this next one is actually not a Pokemon. This was the only non-Pokemon that the person requested that I make. And I was very, very, very apprehensive to make it, even more so than with the Lucario. Like, this one was really like, oh, I don't know about that. Because this actually is not an animal, it's a person. This person wanted me to crochet Goku from Dragon Ball Z. And, well, here he is in all his glory, y'all. I am embarrassed to say, I feel like this is really the one that like held me up for so long. And again, it's not because the pattern was necessarily complicated, nothing like that. It's kind of more along the lines of, because one, I really do not enjoy crocheting people and like intricate items, you know? I prefer crocheting big, chunky, fluffy animals and things like that. So this was very out of my scope of like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to pull it off. I am very proud of it. And look how big it is. Look how big it came out. In the photos, it is not this big in the pattern. So, I mean, a lot of times I just kind of skip over where it says what size yarn to use and what size hook to use, because it's like, I'm using what I got. And however big it comes out, that's how big it comes out, right? But man, I didn't expect them to come out this big, so I feel like they really got their money's worth, okay, with this Goku here. But, yeah, I mean, I will say, I saw clips of Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. I wasn't really into it. I was too busy, like, watching Powerpuff Girls and stuff. But, he is very cute. I would keep this for me, honestly, just to, like, say that I did it. But will I ever make one again? Probably not. Nope. It just takes way too much mental bandwidth for me to make people and make things that contain this much sewing and this much just like attention to detail and this many color changes and just all these different pieces. It's just too much for me personally. I'm not trying to come off like I'm lazy here. I'm just simply like, I'm a simple girl. I like to crochet simple things. But I do really love how he came out. Do you guys love him? Please, everybody give Goku a little compliment in the comments, please. And last, but most certainly not least, and probably my favorite thing out of this entire order, like the one thing that I would probably like be like, hey man, you want a refund for this? Because I want to keep it. Is my little friend Bulbasaur. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love him. I love him so much. Bulbasaur is my favorite starter Pokemon. I think if you asked me when I was a child, I would have said Squirtle. And then maybe when I was like a teenager, Charmander. But it's Bulba. It's Bulba! Look how like just cute he is. A little dinosaur with like a bulb of garlic on his back. I don't really know if it's garlic, but it does look like that, doesn't it? This is so adorable. This pattern is also from One Up Crochet on Etsy. And this one, I will say, hell yes, I'll make another one. Hell yes, I'll make another one. You know, does it require a little bit, you know, of work? Like, yes, you gotta like sew on the thighs and then sew the legs to the thighs and stuff. But this is still chunky enough to me that it's not so fussy, and I think it just comes out so cute. And I think in the pattern they used like felt for the little spots around and stuff like that, but I just embroidered mine on with like a yarn needle and yarn, obviously, and I think they came out so cute. I feel like I spaced them out really well. Like, I want to be so sad to part with this guy, like, I'm not gonna lie. I love it. I love him. Yeah. And so that is it for this gigantic $400 commissioned order that took me 2.5 months to complete. Now, what did we learn, kids? We learned not to take on more than we can chew, okay? We learned that, you know what? It's okay to decline certain things, you know? I need to stop being such a people pleaser. I also need to stop giving myself realistic timelines, because I was over here thinking like, you know, I could have this done by April 1st. And you know what? I probably could have. It's just, I'm not that girl. Shout out Cynthia Erivo. Shout out my girl Elfie. But anyways, guys, that was a whole lot of yapping, a whole lot of just showing off Pokemon and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I will say I had a very good experience following all of these patterns. So if any of them looked good to you or looked interesting to you, please don't let me telling you that I would never make another one of any of them be a deterrent for you not to go and try them. Because if you are into making like dainty things or like more involved things, or you like making people or whatever the case may be, you are probably going to love every single one of these patterns. They're all fun. Please be kind to yourself and be realistic with yourself. If you also take on commission orders, don't give yourself unrealistic timelines. Don't rush yourself. And if the person that is requesting that you make something is trying to rush you, tell them respectfully decline. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here with me as always. I so appreciate you always leaving your lovely comments, your likes, your subscribing all the time. You guys are the best. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day, week, month, night, whatever you're having. Please enjoy yourself, and I will see you all in the next one. Mwah. Bye.